Welcome back, everybody. Take a break with Stephen, Mr. Stephen Shamus.
Good to see you, my friend. You got a cool little sweatshirt.
It's my I got a Moon Knight shirt, and then it's a little chilly in LA. Who knew? Well, it's fine. It's gonna be hot soon, so I'll take the chill.
Yeah. I like the Moon Knight shirt. That is cool, Alex.
Yeah. It's on brand for me, for sure.
All right, what do we got today?
We're gonna hit a couple topics. We're gonna talk at length about Arkham Knight.
Keep your guns trained on him. If he even looks like he's planning to leave that room, open fire. Oh, and avoid the bat symbol. It's a little trick. It's where his armor's the strongest. Aim for the weak spots at the shoulders first, then coordinate fire at the points where the plates meet.
Please.
We're gonna talk about Doc Savage, which, I mean, this guy's been around forever. We never talked about him.
When slithering horror threatens, when assassins narrow their sights, when terrorists strike, when the green wigglies are coming to get you. When you're all doomed to die a horrible death.
We're all doomed to die a horrible death.
When you're in that kind of trouble, who do you call on?
Doc Savage! Doc Savage! Doc Savage! Doc Savage!
And then Dead Boy Detectives.
Thanks, Danny.
Hi. Nice mansion.
Wow, look at these two. Dear Lord. Ugh, small bandages from here, can't I?
We can hear you.
Oh, no.
Wait, who? You can hear the boys?
Don't be dirty, of course we can. You're ghosts, and you're standing right in front of us.
Who I'm very excited for the series that comes out.
Yeah, on HBO Max, now known as Max.
Yep, Max.
Yeah. Okay, all right. So what do we got first, Alex?
Yeah, let's talk about Arkham Knight. This is a fun one.
Yeah. There's a lot of different books to digest here. A lot of very, very low pop books that you can't really find, which we'll get to at the end.
Mm-hmm.
But talk to me a little bit about Arkham Knight and why the first appearance is going so crazy.
Well, so there's kind of a split with Arkham Knight. So the character was first introduced to the video game Arkham Asylum and that world. In the video game and in the comic book about the video game, Arkham Knight is Jason Todd. It's another persona of Jason Todd, the second Robin that was beat up and killed by the Joker. So that's a big fan favorite. People love Red Hood. So this was like a cool little like Easter egg. Like, oh, nobody knew who this character was. It's actually Jason Todd, and he's using this character to, pursue his revenge and stuff like that. And then in the mainstream universe, the character Arkham Knight is in the mainstream universe, but it's a different character. It's actually Astrid Arkham, who is the daughter of Dr. Arkham, who was essentially raised in the insane asylum and becomes kind of like she understands why the villains are the villains, and she learns to hate Batman. And so she essentially dons this persona to fight Batman and to stick up for the villains, which is very interesting. And, she blames Batman for her mother's death. And of course she was stuck in Arkham Asylum, which is going to make anybody crazy. But it's a really weird dual threat, right? So it's like the Arkham Knight is a character and people want their first appearances, but there's two different versions of two different people under the mask. It's like being like, oh, I'm into Batman, but I only want the Dick Grayson version. It's a weird scenario here, but very popular and probably a character that we're going to see in the mainstream Marvel or DC universe for a while. Maybe it comes up in some animated movie. The animated movies in DC are huge right now. So
yeah, we've seen the continuity. Also, those issues have popped up with Harley Quinn. So it sounds like it's very similar to Harley Quinn.
Yep, okay. Exactly. Yeah.
All right. So Batman Arkham Knight #1, Victor Bogdanovich cover from May of 2015. There are 69 blue label and 22 gold label 9.8s. That's about a $60 9.8 because this is not, like you said, out of the DC continuity.
Correct.
First appearance of the Arkham Knight in comics. Peter Tomasi story, Victor Bogdanovich art, and Art T-Bear art. So again, if it winds up being like Harley Quinn, this could be the one. But the other iteration is the one that's really gone crazy. Okay.
Correct.
Then there's the 1 in 10 variant cover by Victor Bogdanovich, 24 9.8. That's a $20 to $30 raw book. Then there's the arcade block edition. There's only one 9.8. It's a $12 plus raw book. There's the Gary Frank 1 in 25 variant cover. There's 9.8. That's a $20 to $30 raw book.
Wow.
There's the gold logo GameStop edition. Very, very hard to find.
Yes.
Victor Bogdanovich cover, 7 9.8s. It's a $60 to $80 raw book.
Wow.
And then there's the GameStop store edition, the red cover, 9.8s, and that's a $15 to $25 raw book. Then we hit the actual first appearance of Arkham Knight in DC Universe continuity. This book came out in 2019, so it's very recent, but the pricing is pretty good on this. Detective Comics number 1000 has a Jim Lee cover, 16 9.9s actually, 301 9.8s. It's a $60 to $75 book in 9.8 because obviously the pop is high. It's a recent book, and the print quality is pretty high, so they grade out pretty well. There's a foil cover, Snyder, King, Tomasi, O'Neill, Bendis, pre-stories with a whole bunch of different artists, including Capullo and Mankey. Then here's one of the big ones, the Alex Ross variant cover A, which is the Detective number 27 homage cover. 334 9.8s. There's actually 67 9.9s, and there's actually 3 10.0s. That is a $300 to $325 book in 9.8.
I'll take
then there's the then there's the Alex Ross variant cover B, which has a Batman Virgin cover. There's 117 9.8s and 16 9.9s, and that's a $400 book in 9.8. Then there's the Art Germ collectibles Virgin edition. There's 2 9.9s. There's a 107 9.8s. That's a $300 book in 9.8. There's the regular Art Germ edition, 6 9.9s, 145 9.8s. That's about an $80 book.
Wow.
Then there's the Art Germ Collectibles Golden Age Edition, 5 9.9s, 170 9.8s. That's about a $175 book. That's got a vintage logo on it. Then there's the Frank Miller 1980s variant cover. That's a nice one. Has the old Dark Knight style. 2 9.9s, 122 9.8s. That's about a $100 book. Then there's the Gabriel Dell'Otto Bulletproof Comics Virgin Edition, 13 9.9s, 123 9.8s. About a $225 book, $40 raw. There's the regular edition, which has 49.8s and 199, $125, $25 to $30 raw. The Ji Hung Lee Virgin Edition, 198 9.8s, 25 9.9s. That's about a $250 book. So these books are picking up, Alex, big time. Yeah. The Jim Lee Album Comics Edition, 26 9.8s. It's a Bane Batman cover, $25 to $30 raw. Then there's another Jim Lee cover for Bedrock City Comics, 199, 27 9.8. So that's about a $25 to $30 raw. Then there's Jim Lee Special Edition, 22 9.8s, 44 Signature Series 9.8s. That's about a $450 book, Alex. Wow. Very, very hard to find. That was a DC Universe subscription exclusive. Do you know how to get those?
I think you had to sign up for like the app, the DC Universe app, and the digital comics, because for a while, the HBO Max TV shows were on the DC app before they merged them, and I think that's what you had to have. You had to have that app to get it mailed to you.
Got it. Yeah, a very, very rare book.
Yes,
$450. It's a sketch cover. Then there's the Rodolfo Migliari Buy Me Toys edition and the Buy Me Toys Virgin edition. I can't find them raw or graded for sale at all. There's 6 9.8s on the regular. There's 14 9.8s on the Virgin. Can't find them anywhere. And then there's a Scorpion Comics Black Sketch edition. It's a black cover. It's pretty neat, actually. 35 9.8s, 154 Signature Series because there are a sketch on them. Limited to 1,000. That's a $500 raw book, Alex. $500. 9.8
still, yeah,
without a sketch on it.
Jeez.
So that's pretty crazy. So that's Arkham Knight. This is a big book. I think you're right. I think people are speculating there's going to be some sort of animated film,
or at least the character is going to be in the books forever. You know, like Red Hood, we didn't expect it to be a character like it is now by any means.
Right. All right, that was a long one, so we're going to go right to Alex's pick of the week. What do you got?
My pick of the week is kind of just like a heads up almost. You know, I follow a lot of people on Instagram, and I'm not telling you who because I don't want you to see the secrets that I know. But I find a lot of people on Instagram, and you know, it's a lot of them are flippers, and kind of just some of the secrets that they kind of show. And it's not really secrets; it makes sense. But you know, for one example is like guys will go to like big you know, department store, like you know, the strip malls, you know, like out in the suburbs, there's like a bunch of stores around, and they'll go in the dumpsters and just look to see what they're throwing away. And a lot of times they throw away stuff that is still sellable and flippable, but it's like out of season. So like, you know, Lego is not a good example, but like I think there was like minifigures that like a Marshalls had, and they couldn't sell them anymore, so they were like, destroy these, and they throw them in the dumpster. And you know, this stuff's easily grabbable and flippable. I'm not saying go dumpster diving by any means, but you know, it's worth a look if you're driving around. Another thing is clearance sections. Like I was in my local Target the other day, and this is a local Target in Los Angeles, and the clearance section had Marvel Legends What If Iron Man Zombie Iron Man. That's a great action figure, and they were $8. So there was like 3 of them. I'm gonna grab them for $8. They sell for $15 to $20 on eBay. I'll just put them up and list them for $20, and you know, someone's gonna buy them. I'm making money from them. You know, I think the clearance sections, the Marshalls, the Rosses, the you know, the Goodwills and stuff. Always look. You never know. You know, a Goodwill. I saw the other day someone.
I see the Goodwill finds all the time.
It's nuts. I saw a guy the other day was at a Ross, which is like a discount. Like when JCPenney's doesn't sell stuff, they send it to a Ross and they resell it, but it's a deeper discount. And there was 2 Force FX Ray lightsabers. That retail for $200, and they were $60 each.
Wow.
Like, of course, Ray isn't as popular as Darth Vader, but a $200 lightsaber, you buy it for $60, you put it on eBay for $200, you put it in the closet, and then at some point it's going to sell. Like that's a Star Wars toy like that, a high-end toy isn't just going to sit around. So like, I would always say just look out for those clearance sections, especially in towns, you know, and smaller towns than like major metropolitan areas, because some stuff just doesn't sell and you never know where it's coming from. Five Below is a good one. Five Below is a great place.
Five Below,
yeah. So it's just interesting.
When you first said strip mall, I thought you were about to say strip club.
No, I don't go shopping there anymore.
I was like, where's he going with this?
How is this linked together with collectibles? I'm sure I can find it sometime.
That's where my mind goes, Alex.
Right.
Okay, what do we got next?
Yeah, Man of Bronze, Doc Savage.
Yeah, so I noticed that these issues were selling for decent money, and I know that they're old, and a lot of old books in 9/8 will sell for a lot of money, but there has to be something to it as well. And even in mid grades, these are selling for decent prices. Talk a little bit about the Doc Savage character. It is interesting because, you know, in order for something to hit our radar, it has to start selling above market, meaning that it's selling for more than it used to be selling for, like out of nowhere, like it's picking up, right?
Yeah.
So talk to us about Doc Savage.
Yeah, so Doc Savage is like, you know, the best example is like he's a character like the Shadow. He's been around since the old pulp magazines, before comic books were even a thing. Of course, these old pulp characters turn into comic books all the time. You know, he's a character like, you know, Superman was not based on him, but kind of based on him. He was a you know, a nice chiseled man. He was there. He didn't have any powers, but like he was like super smart. So he was like a doctor, and he was smart about like criminology and science and math, and he was also like peak human strength, like as strong as you could be. He was, and he was an adventurer. So like you could also say that Indiana Jones took a little bit from him, or Alan Quatermain, and those heroes. And he's just been a character that's been around for a long time. I think what you're seeing is a kind of a resurgence in like the Gold Key, Whitman type era comic books, where, these books are not hard to find. You can walk into any comic convention and find Disney Gold Keys. You can find Dell Comics. They're not hard to find, but they're getting scarce and high grades. Number ones are very hard to find. And these are characters that all it's going to take. I mean, the Shadow, the only reason I think why people would even recognize the name The Shadow nowadays is because of the movie that came out in the 90s that spawned, like, it was figures, and it was a big movie. Like, it made some money. Phantom was another one. Like, without that Billy Zane movie, we probably didn't know who Phantom is. Right. And those characters are going to have a resurgence. They're IP, right? When someone owns IP, they want to make money from them, and the only way to make money from them is to do something where the public knows who they are, and you can sell it, which is movies, TV shows, animation. And I think the world, right now, because we're on a writer's strike, but with all the streaming services and cable and movies and TV, like, they're going to go to the well house, and like, this is a perfect example.
Yeah. So Doc Savage, number one, the Gold Key, is from November of '66. It's very old. 596s, 394s, 892s. A 9.0 recently sold for $900, so you can get a clean copy. 7580. It's the first Silver Age appearance of Doc Savage, based on the Lester Dent pulp hero. Painted cover and cover pinup. Leo Dorfman story, Jack Sparling art, and James Bama cover. Then you have the Doc Savage number one from October of '72. 37 9.8s, 66 9.6s. It's about a $775 book in 9.8. Based on The Man of Bronze by Kenneth Robeson. Includes brief Doc Savage biography by Roy Thomas and Steve Englehart story. So that takes care of Doc Savage. All right, what are we closing with tonight, Alex?
Dead Boy Detectives. Neil Gaiman's a genius.
It's going to be on HBO Max or Max.
HBO or Netflix, I think. Yeah, so it's one of those two. I think it was going to be on HBO, but now it's heading to Netflix, or goes from Netflix or into HBO. One of the two. It's a TV show. We're going to see it on streaming.
What is this story about?
So Dead Boy Detectives is a story. It was a one-off on one of the Sandman issues that Neil Gaiman wrote. And long story short, there was a school for, that you would send your kids away, like a boarding school. One kid died and went to hell. And then many years later, there was another boy in the same school during like a Christmas break. So there was no one there but teachers. Something happened in the Sandman books, which released everybody from hell, spirits. So the boy that died there came to help the boy that was alive, because the ghosts, the bad ghosts, of like the bullies that killed the original kid, and just like demons were wreaking havoc and killing people in the school. The ghost boy that was helping the live boy still dies. So now these two boys are kind of stuck in the school. They both told Death, like, I don't want to go to the next realm. I want to stay here. And they read a bunch of detective novels. They read everything in the library, and they just become detectives. They get brought on to do cases, solve cases with like help from a medium that can contact them. And they've kind of popped up every now and then. It was like a one-off in Sandman, and then they had their own series, and then they were on Doom Patrol for an episode, I think, which kind of was like the backdoor pilot for a TV show. But yeah, fun stuff.
Yeah, these books are picking up big time, Alex.
Yeah.
So the Sandman number 25 from April of 1991. There are 32 9.8s. I can't find any 9.8s.
Yeah.
I was able to find some 9.0s, 9.2s, $25 to $30 raw. Very, very tough to find. Sandman did have a high print run, and number 25 was an anniversary issue. Yeah. So you can generally find them raw, but I think finding high grade copies is going to be difficult.
Correct. Yeah.
Season of Mist Part 4, Neil Gaiman's story, Matt Wagner and Malcolm Jones III art, with a Dave McKean cover, which was all kind of standard for Sandman back then. Then they had their own standalone series, Dead Boy Detectives, from DC Vertigo, back in February of 2014. There's only 8 9.8s. Last one sold for about $200. I would expect the next ones to sell for more. Toby Litt, Mark Buckingham story and art, Mark Buckingham cover. And then there's the Cliff Chang 1 in 13. I know they did sort of this unusual 13 number variant cover, 7 9.8s, and it's about a $30 to $40 raw book. So this book is really picking up once they announce the Max or Netflix show that they're doing.
Yep, exactly. Once it comes out, it's over. Get them now.
I know. All right. Well, thank you for joining us today. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them in the field below. Otherwise, we will see you all next week. Same bad time.
Same bad channel.